Okay, now I saw in some of the videos, which I scanned through. I didn't go through every single bit, and I didn't go through all the videos. I just kind of went through the parts of some of it, and then looked at some of the function. Like I was talking about chord function, he talks about that in a later episode. Which I think it should be an earlier episode, but that's my opinion. Um, but this now is just a few um, finger coordination motions, exercises, if you will, but um, they're not really based on any scale. They're just finger motion. The important part of this is, first of all, to have some of this motion straight up, just as your fingers go. And you'll see the pattern that I'm playing, and I'll go further. But then also to have variation of that pattern. You want to avoid having your fingers do only one way of doing things. You'll get into a rut. You'll get into normalities of doing it all the same. So in order to get your fingers to to think not always the same, you want to do a number of different exercises. Some of these, I'm just going to do a few, but you would do more up and down the neck if you want. But basically, like your friend said with the metronome, that's the key, is to keep it kind of smooth. And if you miss one, let a silence happen and play the notes that proper is next. Don't stop, hesitate, restart, and catch back up. Let silence be your friend. So here's basically the patterns. Um, First one is just, these are just one or two, I can't remember how many I know, so I'm just going to kind of go through them. But they're just basically a box pattern. It's a 4 block, 4 fret, and all you do is move your hand. You don't do any other shifting or whatever. The first one, I'm just going to do linear ups and linear downs. It's just. You can go down the last couple frets. If you really want to push it up higher, you can. But the point is, it's just pure motor movement. Don't worry about keys, scales, nothing. Just your fingers moving. That's all this is. Um, Another one is a well. I'm gonna actually I do one sometimes that I hop, but he did one where he does a 3 and a 4, and that's a kind of a useful one. So I'm gonna kind of do that where you go. No, forget that. No, I'm gonna do the first one I was thinking of because it's a block pattern. His is weird, so I'm gonna do it next. Um, Sorry. Um, it's the same. It's a concept. It's another 4 block fingers moving, but it's just another way of getting your fingers to do something different. And it's not related necessarily to a scale. It's just your fingers going to places where you kind of think you want them to go. And later you'll figure out where if you wanted to could use that note or a different note for the scale. But this one it's a hopping kind of thing. Instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, I go 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 3, 2, 4. Then inverse. And you know, you heard me fuck up, and I just play through the fuck ups. You don't start over again. You know, whatever. It's wrong. Anybody who's really paying attention will probably hear your mistake and go, ha ha. But you know, most people are just gonna go, oh, okay. They just kept going, and really, it just worked out. I got to do these two again, but like I did that really slow because I was being solid, and it's solid. Slow speed will come. Speed will come. Get it solid first, but you know that. Yeah, I should probably do more practice on that second pattern I had. You know, I can't do it quite as fast. Plus, my arthritis is kicking up, so it's harder to press. So I'm starting to fade. Maybe I'll take a break in a moment. But the key for all of that is really, you know, that pattern. There are a couple other patterns that you can practice. I'm sure he has a few in there, and you could take this idea and still extrapolate it. But to really get your hand and your mind to like put it all together, I mean, put it all together musically, that's going to take the music theory. We'll work on that, you know, functionality, all that, blah 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 blah. But to some extent, you just you have to put in the time and practice that finger pattern up and down the neck. And I don't mean like years and devotions of hours in a life, whatever. What I mean is that you have to sit down, you know, once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, and go through the whole pattern up the neck and down the neck. You know, you might even go down here. You know, you might stretch it out. You know, and it'll be slightly different because the this is where your imaginary, you know, your finger would be if you were to pull the pattern. So it's slightly different, but it's essentially the same. You know, the concept is moving your hand with the concept of scale and function and your arpeggio, not arpeggio, but the pentatonic scale, all that's kind of useful. But independent of that is just like independent finger motion, you know, like I was just doing that exercise. So my hand is really starting to go at it, so I'm going to take a break. But that's kind of, you know, another one of the basic elements is just um, a sort of movement of your hands in patterns independent of any concept of putting it onto a scale or the pentatonic scale or this or that. Um, and, you know, you could also, okay, I'm just going to let this run, and I'll do other things later. You have your minor pentatonic scale that you've, or that pentatonic scale, the one on C, the okay. So that's a pattern, and it's the minor pentatonic scale, or whatever, or the C major pentatonic scale. You can kind of look at it different ways, as I explained, but that's just a pattern. So do what I just did with this whole 4 block. Just do that with that one pattern. Just think that one pattern. Don't do anything about the other patterns. Don't think about the CG cage system. Don't do anything. Just take the mechanics, just the physical mechanics of your hand, and just do that pattern. I'm going to do it starting on A. I started on G before. I'm going to start on A this time because that's what your paperwork and what the whole that system you've got. But you could start on the G, and I'm going to go back to the G and back up to the A in my pattern. But basically, just do that pattern just for your finger memory. Don't worry about scales. Don't worry about keys. Don't worry about anything. Just do the pattern like this. Okay, I did that. I kind of just went by instinct. I think I'm going to go a little slower to try to help you work with this. And if you get it down, we can go faster, and I'll do another recording with it fast. And I'm not a speed demon like that guy, so I'm nowhere anything like that. I'm not going to be close to that. So if you want to do that, you're going to have to spend a lot more time getting your fingers going. But as far as the basic patterns and then your rough treatment, that's what I'm going for. And so I'm going to do it again, start again, but I'm going to go a little slower because I want this. There's a strong tendency of everyone, including is to try to rush into it and try to match the speed of the song as it's originally recorded and all of that. But that's a couple of things. First of all, those particular, especially when they're like intricate little movements, they've been practicing that movement for a while, and it's no longer something they think about and practice. It's just an instinctual reaction, almost like karate, or martial arts. It's a programmed series of motions that are almost pure, just reaction instinct. They're almost not even thought about. They are thought about a little bit, but for the most part, you can kind of move it to that level. That being said, and I didn't think about it before, but I'm going with it now, the analogy of martial arts, where when you see them practicing a move, they're not practicing it like this. They're practicing like this. They are practicing really slow so that all their muscles and all their motions are like set into the way, into the flow, and the way that they're going to do it. And that's very much what like the guitar is. So whatever it takes, slow it down to a pace that you are comfortable with a good flow. Okay, I haven't played the song one time, but I kind of, it's I'm kind of fucking it up because I haven't played and practiced and all that stuff. But basically the idea, that's a nice little riff. It's awesome. Boom, you hear it. You know what it, But go slow. And I'm going to go back. I'm kind of losing track, but you can rewind this, and this is for you as my family and friend. I'll edit it later for other people. But I'm fucking this up too much. But you get the idea, I hope, is to do it slow first and get a flow. And if you get the slow movement and it's like smooth and all that, then you'll find you're getting faster and faster and faster. And soon you won't know because it just happens. So, gonna do this thing that I originally talked about and kind of got wandered off on. But here, is just your pentatonic pattern, in this case starting on A, so I'm going to call it the minor pentatonic. So they aim the minor pentatonic scale just as a pattern, regardless of what other scale points, and just move that pattern just for finger memory. Just for finger memory. Don't think about music theory or anything else. Just pure. Okay.
You're not recording right now, are you?
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to come back to this. Okay, you got it? I'm going to go to the store.